Hello and welcome to another edition of Saddlers TV. We've got the young guns with us this evening, Reece Flanagan, Liam Kinsella and Matt Preston alongside me. Lots to talk about, 3 academy graduates. Matt, if I can start with you first and foremost. Jim O'Connor injured at the weekend, meant that you were put in there at the back. 1-1 draw with Crewe, how did you find it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was nice to come on, obviously, with Jimmy being injured, but yeah, I thought it was a good game to play against them, and yeah, I enjoyed it.
As I've already discussed, Marcus Haber was the man that you were tasked with marking. He's a big lad himself. Do you relish that sort of challenge when you come up against someone who's more of a physical battle?
I enjoy playing against bigger people. I think you can get away with throwing your weight around a bit more, as it were. With little people, you have to be kind of wary about they're going to fall over or whatnot, but bigger people, you can be a bit more aggressive with, I guess.
I know we was talking before we came on air about a bit of stick we was giving you about the chance that you potentially should have scored in the first 10-15 minutes.
How did you? I was running towards it, so I had to flick it.
Talk us through the chance then as you saw it.
I think it was a corner out on the left, I think it was, and I took it short. And I started at the back post and I've ran towards the front, but as it's coming in, I've had to like almost push my man out the way and try and flick it sort of thing towards goal. It was difficult, but yeah. Decent save.
The media picked up, you're obviously on media duty afterwards, they picked up on the fact that you are a defender who's comfortable on the ball. I think there was a few 5-10 yards bursts up until the halfway line on a few occasions. Is that sort of an aspect of your game that you've always had, always coming through the ranks, being comfortable as a defender?
I would say I've been like coached into doing it more, where when I first joined it I wouldn't have done that so much, but you've got to pick the right times to do it. I think it can be quite risky if I got one wrong on Saturday in the second half, but yeah, you've got to pick the right times to do it. But yeah, it's something that I've been coached into doing more and more since I've been here.
You're all academy graduates, so you've all came through the system at some aspect. I mean, you all joined probably at different times. Kins, I'll come to you first. At what age, first of all, did you join the academy, and you had any experience at clubs before you joined the club?
I joined at 8, so I had no previous clubs before then. 8 and now I'm 19, so been here for about 11 years.
Yeah, a testimonial after a year.
Yeah, next year.
So you joined at 8, you've been here a long time. We talk about the philosophy at the club, the style of play that, you know, various managers have come, and the philosophy has remained the same. Did you find that was the case, being that I assume you've been here the longest out of all 3 of you, so did you find that's been the case for 10 years, just played the relatively same style of football?
Yeah, I mean, every age group, like 9s, 10s, all the way up, they want you to play football, and then takes into the youth team, they want to play football in reserves. Obviously, in first team, they all want to play football, so they train us to always try and play football, and then that helps us when you get into the first team to try and play football.
Like I say, do you find that's how, because it's not as big a jump when, you know, you've been learning how to play a certain way for 10 years, then you finally break into that first team and they play a completely different way? That's not the case here.
No, it's not at all. I mean, they all try and play football at any age group here. So
when you look back at your time here, you know, 10-11 years now, what makes this academy system successful? Because I think people from the outside acknowledge that there's very few clubs, certainly in this region or up and down the country, that bring as many people through the system as we do. As a player who's come from that system, can you pinpoint why you think so many players get the chance?
All the managers that I've worked with have all had like a good relationship with the players. I mean, they always gave me a chance. Always, if I make mistakes, they obviously help me and always teaching me to learn, and I'm always learning whoever my manager is.
So Kin's been here since 8. Flan, on to you next. When did you join the club?
I joined at 16s from Sunday League.
So literally you'd played Sunday League football straight in at the club. How big a difference was that to come in as a 16 from Sunday League?
I mean, I played a couple of years at academy at Birmingham City when I was, I think, 11 years old.
Okay.
So I'd been in academies before, but to come here and come straight into a scholarship was something completely new for me. And I think Neil Woods had came in that same year that I joined.
Right, okay.
And so brought a lot of experience with him, and I think my positional play, because he coached a lot of shape, really improved based on having him in the youth team.
So how did you find out that Walsall were interested in you? Can you remember?
I think Graham Biggs and an analyst, James Troop.
Right, okay.
He came to a Sunday League game that me and Matt played for the same Sunday League team.
There you go.
But I think I don't
so
know
your mate's got you in.
You could say that.
What, you know,
So it was Troop and Graham had obviously seen you playing as a Sunday.
Yeah. And then there was 3 of us from that team then that came in on trial, and me and Matty both got scholarships from there.
So I assume you were 16 as well when you
Yeah, it was the
joined.
same. We both come on trial at the same time, got in at the same time.
Had you been at any other clubs before you joined?
No, only 3Cs, and before that, I think it was 3Cs from about 8, 7, 8, something like that. I've never been at an academy before.
So you literally had 1 year and straight into it.
Yeah, I didn't have a year. I joined at the end of 16.
Right, okay, so you were...
And it was 1 or 2 weeks before the last scholarship could be given.
Right.
I was given mine. Yeah.
Right. So how quickly did those 2 years go? So you joined the club as a last ditch effort as an under 16. How quickly do those 2 years go? Because a lot of coaches will say to players that get given scholarships, this goes pretty quickly, these 2 years, to prove yourself and to earn that professional contract. Just how quickly, from a player's point of view, it mustn't seem like you get a minute to blink.
Yeah, no, it flashes before. It's like, but every week you just want to, you're thinking week by week. You don't think long term. You're just thinking like Saturday game or Tuesday game. You play it by games, and yeah, it goes ridiculously quick.
Captain the youth team as well. Something that you was proud of at the time?
Yeah, I'd say so, but it wasn't. It's not such a big deal for me. It doesn't change anything for me the way I play or anything like that. But yeah, I guess it's an achievement, I'd say.
Kins, how'd you look back on your youth team football 2 years? And I suppose Graham and Neil would have been here at the time as well.
Yeah, Graham and Neil were the coaches then. First year we won a cup, so that was a good experience, and it went so quick. I still remember the first day, but I enjoyed every minute of it. I learned a lot. I learned a lot off Neil and Graham.
Do you find it's competitive? We were talking again just before we came on air about that competitiveness. A lot of criticism that's put at youth team football and reserve team football is it's not competitive enough. There isn't that will to win. It's very nice on the eye, but did you find that there was that hunger to go and win games?
Yeah, I don't agree. I think that youth team, there was a lot of like willingness to go and win. I wanted to win every game, and everyone I played with wanted to win as well. So every game we played and we went out to win. So it was competitive.
Do you find at that age, 16 to 18, is it easy to concentrate just on your football? You know, it's that sort of age where all your mates are going out. They might be at college with lots of free time. You have to really dedicate yourself to...
Yeah, all my mates go out and that, but it doesn't really bother me, to be fair. All I want to do is play football, so I just...
Plan same for you?
Yeah, I think same. You have to. You're not going to make it in this profession if you don't dedicate yourself to it. So there's some sacrifice you have to make, I suppose, but hopefully it'll all be worth it in the end.
Kins, I want to talk because obviously we've got a big couple of games coming up, Wigan and Burton. You've already scored against Burton this year, back in October. Took us through that first senior goal, wheeled away at that far end.
Well, to be fair, I just hit it, and it hit the back of the net, and I didn't have a clue what to do. I didn't understand. I just wanted to play well, but the goal was a bonus, and when it hit the back of the net, I just went mental. I wanted to jump with the fans, but I got held back by Romain, so I just celebrated in front of him.
I was about to say, I thought you had a ticket in the lower title choice stand.
Jump in there,
and wheeled away. But that's just, I think it's just pure emotion coming out when you score that first goal, and then for it to be such a crucial goal to win the game is something that hasn't come in the last minute where we're already goals down, did it, Matt? As like your goal against Chester.
There's no need for that. There's no need for that at all.
Took us through it though. Still nice to score your first senior goal.
Yeah, but obviously with how the game was going, it wasn't how you would always dreamed it, I guess.
Don't get a chance to celebrate too much. But
yeah, obviously it's nice to score a goal, but yeah, if it could have been under different circumstances, it would have been.
So I'll give you a little bit of stick for getting one that doesn't matter. Flan, have you the first senior goal in?
Yeah,
no, I'm going to wait for that occasion.
Exactly. Give me some, like it being not mattered, but at least I got one.
No, it's true. Kins, I just want to come back to the fact of positioning. You obviously scored that high up the pitch from right back. You see sort of Jace or Rico and Tails, they all look to get forward from that sort of positions. Now, you came through the ranks as a central midfielder. Since you've turned pro, you've been deployed at right back by both Dean Smith and Sean O'Driscoll. Is it something that bothers you? Do you see yourself in a particular position? Or
No, it doesn't really bother me. I play wherever the gaffer wants me to play. I mean, reserves, I play centre mid as well, so I'm still learning that position as well. But when I put first team and I play right back, I know what I'm doing, so...
How difficult is it to adapt? Did you play much of right back, like you say, back before?
Youth team I did play, like the first year in my youth team I did play quite a lot right back and learnt a lot from Neil Woods then, and then just progressed. Youth team second season was played centre mid, and then second year pro, been playing right back.
Is that a case for all of you really? Is it just, I know obviously centre half's more of a specialist position, but you played in a 3 at the back early on? Or was you always play as part of...
We've played in 3 for first team. We've done it a few times at reserves.
Right.
Yeah, nothing other than that, I wouldn't say.
Quite happy as long as you're playing. I don't suppose it matters It's too much which sort of position it is.
No, anything that gets me on the pitch really.
Yeah.
He's a
Just try and
striker.
get-
Really big
You think he's
striker.
a-
Yeah, on
He's
the
a
quiet.
finisher.
Always played centre mid, even when you was growing up.
Yeah, whole life played centre mid.
Always been a centre half.
Unless we were losing at Sunday League, stick
yeah,
Matt
and then
up
we
front,
stick-
get him up front.
Throw the big man
go
up.
and challenge
Did it
the
work?
centre-back. A few times, yeah, a few, but yeah.
Wasn't the one game you played in goal?
And you even played in goal.
Yeah, goalkeeper.
There you go.
I was
That
actually,
didn't work. It really didn't
Oh
work.
no, it didn't. Yeah, no, it didn't.
He cleared one ball off our centre back over his head
Oh.
into our own net.
Tell you what,
You know
we'll cut the first half of the show.
Sometimes
We'll cut the first
You've
half
just
of
got
the
to make people laugh, and you know.
show. That's all we've got time for in the first half of the show. Join us in a few moments' time. Welcome back to Saddlers TV. We have the young guns with us for tonight's show. Reece Flanagan, Liam Kinsella and Matt Preston, my guests here in the 1888 Lounge. Reece, I'm going to start with you for the second half of the show. Played a lot of development team football, played a lot of first team football as well this year. 15 appearances so far. What's the main difference? I'll come to both Liam and Matt in a second. What's the main difference that you notice both from playing development football up to first?
I think first team games have a lot of higher intense games in the first team. Reserves team games, depending on who you're playing, can be a little bit false almost. There's slow tempo, not as much pressing, so you get a lot more time on the ball, whereas in the first team I don't think you're guaranteed to get that in any game that you play.
Can you find it to be the same thing? That
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
the pace, the tempo?
Yeah, the tempo, and there's a lot more bigger players in the first team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm quite a small kid, so coming up against a massive geezers, not scary, but it's decent.
I think
Good challenge.
we'll come on to that, because I think you made your debut against one of the tallest players in the division when Hanson at Bradford
Yeah.
was trying to peel onto our right back. But I remember in this commentary box watching across that far side. I think you rose about 6'5", won the header. Do you remember seeing it?
He's small at stature but big at heart.
Yeah.
Matt, what about you? You've played some development team games as well as first team. Do you go along with these two?
Again, it would just be like tempo, things like that, and maybe bigger people and stronger people. More than that, yeah, not much.
When you get that opportunity, like you say, in the first team, you know, you've impressed in a development team squad, or there's an injury or whatever it might be. How beneficial is it to all three of you that we do have the mixture of both youth and experience? I'm thinking James O'Connor, Jace Demetriou, Andy Taylor, Adam Chambers. Those sorts of players were in and around you against Crew. Are they as vocal on the pitch as you'd expect from a senior clutch of players, or is it more lead by
I
example?
think so. In certain situations when things aren't going so well or something, they can obviously they've been there and they've done it before, so they give their input on what they think should happen. Or, but even if it's just something small, like you're too far to the left or too far to the right, just move back or anything like that, and because they've done it before, they know. So they'll talk to you about things like that.
Like I say, as a captain of the youth team, do you find is it challenging to then, you know, open your mouth? Do you feel confident enough to then start talking as well, even though
when you're younger, you don't want to tell someone who's been there more than you to what to do, because you think almost like, well, I shouldn't be telling him because he already knows. But I think that when you get older, you realise that people just want to be told things, even if it's just to switch them back on. But yeah, if you speaking helps everyone out. So the older you get, the more you realise that.
Kins, the senior pros helped you whenever you've made the step up?
Yeah, I mean, I've got Chamber centre mid and Jace as a right back, so I can learn a lot off them. And if I ever need to know about positioning or anything like that, I can go to them and ask them for any advice, and they'd tell me. So.
Are they as approachable off the pitch as they are on it?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to them and then ask them any questions you want, and they'd tell you. So on the pitch and off the pitch, they're good professionals.
Flan, same for you? They walk you through aspects of the game. Is it wise to listen to some of them?
Yeah, I think you can learn a lot from the older professionals. Like Matty says, they probably see things differently, having been there and done it more so than yourself. So I think on the pitch and off the pitch, they might just have a different view on things. Maybe something you can learn from.
You play in the same position or alongside skipper Adam Chambers, probably the most model pro that you could find. I mean, how much can young players who are still relatively at the start of their career look up to 34-year-old Adam Chambers, who runs like a 18-year-old box to box still?
Yeah, I mean, everyone sees it out on the pitch, but we see it every day in the training ground. So he's doing everything that he can. He's in the gym first. He's doing his ice baths and hot and colds and stretching and you name it.
I'm sure he had like half a bread roll rather than one full bread
He
roll.
lives his life to play football. He does it exactly.
He does,
how it
yeah.
should be done.
But it's that sort of commitment and detail that young players and players that are younger than yourself, when you think next year there'll be a clutch of first year professionals and even youth teams.
Yeah.
How much can they learn from the likes of Adam Chambers?
Yeah, of course. Exactly how it should be done. Really, he lives his life to play football. So yeah, everything that he does is based around football, and he sacrifices a lot. And it's
you see it
everyone
on
has
the
it.
pitch.
It's
Has
not-
mad respect for what he does because he does it exactly how it should be done.
Let's talk a bit about making your debuts. I think you've all made your debuts in the last 2 seasons. So, Matt, we'll start with you. Rochdale 3-2 victory. I know you needed a little bit of reminder, but 89th minute you came on.
Yeah.
What are your memories for? I want to talk about pre-match. You're sitting there, obviously you've seen the match. You know we're under the cosh a little bit, having been 3-0 up. What's your thoughts going through when the
Be
gaffer gives you a
solid.
nod?
That was what I was told when they go and be solid, win the ball. If anything comes, play the game for what it is. It has to go in the corner. It has to go in the corner. I remember that. Make sure you win your headers. That's all I could remember.
Nerves? Any nerves at all? You can be honest.
Not so much really. I think I was expecting to be more nervous than I was, but I think I was just that clued into the game that I forgot and got lost in it as soon as you get on the pitch. But yeah, not so much as I thought it would be.
A lot of people say you're a throwback defender, love defending, the art of defending gets lost these days in the modern game. What is it about heading, kicking people and the ball sometimes that appeals to you so much? Or it seems to,
That's
at
a
least,
difficult
anyway.
question. No, I don't know. I enjoy stopping people from scoring in the weirdest way. Yeah, especially 50-50 tackles. I do love. I'll give you that one. I don't know, something about it. I get a buzz from it inside when if it's a 50-50. I was always taught though from a young age.
If you pull out,
it's a 50-50. If you're going half-hearted, you're going to come off.
Yeah,
the
I
arse.
agree. Yeah.
So if I go into a tackle, I'm going in with everything I've got basically.
Certainly no nerves from where you're coming from. Kins, did you hear stories of players getting sick with nerves before they play? Even model pros can still find a bit of nerves pre-match. Just thinking back to your debut, 16th of August 2014 against Bradford, 0-0 draw, so clean sheet, good start. Pre-match though, night before, lose any sleep? Was it nerves?
The gaffer didn't name the team till an hour and a half before kick-off, so overnight I didn't have any nerves. Came in and then he named the squad, pulled me in and said, "You're going to be playing right back." So I wasn't as nervous as I thought I was going to be. I just did my normal routine, got in a change room, got changed, then just did the warm-up and played.
As we say, their big man James Hansen kept peeling onto the right back, but didn't bother you. Didn't seem to bother you.
Really.
Got an absolute spring when he got up and headed one over the top.
I prefer playing against like tall players because it's more of a challenge that I can beat him in the air, and every time I beat him in the air I'm like,
because you're not really expected to win it.
yeah, and then every time you do it's a bonus.
Yeah. Flan, moving on to you. Start of last season, your debut, Leyton Orient. Nerves? Do you remember it? Memories?
I think like the other two really, I wasn't as nervous as I thought I would be because I've been on the bench a few games and running up and down the touchline as usual, and probably didn't expect to come on, and then as he calls me over I've got 1 minute maybe to think about it, so I didn't really get that nervous now, and we ended up winning that game, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, because
Look at that.
No.
We were winning anyway.
Yeah, of course.
What about when you make mistakes as young players? So we've got a few minutes left. What about when you're out there and you make mistakes? Is it challenging to not let it affect you when you're in front of bigger crowds than you used to?
I mean, every player in the football league is going to make a mistake sometimes, so it, like you say, it is hard to react then from it. But with the squad that we've got around us, everyone's positivity, and it makes it easier to come through it. So I think, like I say, everyone's going to make a mistake, but it's just how you react from that, isn't it?
Same for you, Kins?
Yeah, the important thing is just not like think about the mistake, just let it go, and then just try and the next thing you do, make sure you do it right. And if you're making another mistake, just don't think about it and just carry on doing it.
Mate, like you said, you came out with the ball and perhaps got one wrong, but didn't seem to faze you and played the rest of the game.
No, again, with the squad that we've got, you don't really feel it that much, and you just gotta. It's how you react to it. Don't let it get in your head. You're told that every day when you're here. It's how you react, and just try not to let it get to you.
A bit of advice for Maz Kuyar, Jordan Sanga, signed their first year pro deals this week. Piece of advice for those, that first year that you moved from youth team to the professional, what bits of advice is it challenging to adjust? What would you say to those guys?
You have to work hard. That's the biggest thing. I think you see a lot of people who come through and then I think that's it. But it's definitely not. That's where the hard work really starts, and you've got to step it up again. Even though you have been at youth team, but you've got to go again.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing I'd say.
Agreed, Kins. Is that the big challenge? You haven't made it just because you've signed that pro deal. It's just the beginning of the hard work.
I mean, just work as hard as you can and giving a good impression on the gaffer because it's your first pro, and then work as hard as you can.
Flan, does it help that you'll probably get given time here? You know, I was talking again during the break about at certain clubs you get given that 1 year contract. If you're not breaking into the first team, then you probably won't be at that club in the following year. Here you at least get some time to settle in and develop.
Yeah, I think that's the club's philosophy, isn't it, to bring through young players. So even if, like you say, he's not doing the best maybe in his first year, not making the bench, not making the team, there's still a lot of time for it to happen for that player. So I think the coaches previously and now will still put a lot of time into young pros, help them develop, and maybe in 2-3 seasons there'll be a player that comes through that you think, wow, I didn't expect that to happen from that player. But I think given that time, anyone with enough ability and confidence will show some
promise.
We'll
go with promise.
Yeah, we'll go.
We're running out of time, Matt. I want to just ask you one very quick question. Who's the quickest player in the squad?
It's me. By default, Rico. People said Rico was. We had the race video. People don't believe me. Put up the video.
We'll see what we can do. That's all we got time for. Reece, Liam, thanks ever so much for joining me. That's all we've got time for this edition of Saddlers TV. Join me next time.